This is Daily Treasures with words of comfort, encouragement, and hope from the Word of God. Here is Dr. Nick Venditti with today's devotional.
May 16, Equality for Foreigners and Nationals. Welcome to Daily Treasures from the Word of God. Today's reading is Numbers 9 through 12. Our lesson is from Numbers 9:14. If an alien sojourns among you and observes the Passover to the Lord, according to the statute of the Passover and according to its ordinance, so he shall do. You shall have one statute, both for the alien and for the native of the land. The Passover was the most important feast of the people of Israel. Let's do a short review of the background before we analyze our text. The people of Israel were under the tyranny of Egypt's Pharaoh. They were exploited by a Pharaoh who did not know Joseph. Israel turned to the Lord, crying out to him for freedom. The Lord heard their cry and sent Moses as their liberator. Moses had a number of encounters with Pharaoh, who continually reneged on his promises until finally all the Egyptian firstborn were killed. It was during this time that Israel celebrated the first Passover as a remembrance of God's deeds on their behalf. Let's look at three explanations about our text. First, the foreigner was included as part of the people of God. In God's plans, there are no second-class citizens. Israel had a special role, but not at the exclusions of other people of the earth. She was to be a light and an example to other nations. Israel celebrated the Passover in remembrance of God's intervention. However, the foreigner in her midst would also have the same opportunity to worship the Lord. Second, the foreigner was to celebrate the Passover according to the ordinances of the Lord. The Lord gave very specific rules on how and when to celebrate the Passover. Just as Israel was to follow the Lord's instructions, the foreigner was to do the same. The Lord does not have two standards or two people. Both Israel and the alien would be one people in their worship. Third, the foreigner celebrated the Passover just like the native of the land. The Lord had promised Israel to take them out of bondage and to bring them to a land that flowed milk and honey. The foreigner was viewed the same as Israel in all senses of the word. The alien had the same rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Although the Torah was given to Moses, the non-Jew had full right of entry into being a part of the covenant made to Israel. The promises of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were available to the nations. In summary, the foreigner was included as part of the people of God. The foreigner celebrated the Passover according to the ordinances, and the foreigner celebrated the Passover just like the native of the land. May we celebrate God's mercies and goodness to all people and for all people. It has been a pleasure to share with you daily treasures from the Word of God. Tomorrow's Bible reading is Numbers 13 through 16. Let's not forget the words of the psalmist. The law of your mouth is better to me than thousands of gold and silver pieces. Until tomorrow, and may God bless you in abundance as you study the Word of God.